by the water.
Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Beck, and welcome to the show. Sometimes what it takes to get the point across about the criminal lifestyle and why a person shouldn't be involved in it is something that happened to that individual that's up close and personal, right? And I got a friend of mine that made parole recently. It's been longer than that. It's been a couple of years now. He made parole, and he's out there doing great. He was out there doing great. Life was good. Everything was working out fine for him, right? But a situation took place in his life that really brought home to him an understanding of the harm that he was causing in his community, right? A lot of times when we're out there breaking the law and committing crimes, whether it was selling drugs, committing violent crimes, robbing, whatever the case may be, right? We don't consider how it would affect us. I remember, a lot of times when I was working on my magazine that I had back in the day, I would talk to a lot of people and I would ask them a question. I'm talking about the people that's in the penitentiary. I would ask them a question. I would say, what would you do? Because I believe that this question here, let me say this before I ask you the question, tell you the question. I believe that a gauge on whether a person has really changed is how they respond to some questions, not just in words, but in body language, right? So here's the thing. I would ask friends of mine in here, or people that I related to on the level of, being incarcerated. I would ask them, I said, well, tell me, what would you do if somebody in your neighborhood, a next door neighbor, was robbed, and you happen to be sitting on the porch and you're watching. You see this going down. What would you do? How do you inject yourself in that situation to make sure that your community is safe? Because as a reformed individual, you have an obligation, in my opinion, to be somebody that would say, I wouldn't want this happening to me, so I'm not going to let this happen to my neighbor, right? Okay. Most of the people in here would say, no, I'm not getting in there. That's not my business, so on and so forth, right? And I would say, okay, I get it. But I would also tell them, I said, look, that is that criminal mindset that we have that restricts us from becoming fully involved in becoming a reformed individual, right? Because that is, in a lot of people's minds in the penitentiary, that's labeled as snitching. Period, point blank. Because once you've crossed that line into becoming a criminal, having that conviction, gone to prison, this and that, most people in the penitentiary believe that you should never do anything that's going to help the police. And what I say is that is continued criminal thinking. You can believe what you believe, think what you want to think, but at the end of the day, it's dangerous. And let me tell you how it became dangerous for a partner of mine, right? Let me show you something. Bro got out. Like I said, he's doing fine out there at this time, right? He was doing things that just amazed everybody. He was working 2 jobs. He was taking care of his little daughter. He ended up getting custody of his daughter because the mother ran into some issues. You know what I'm saying? She had some addiction issues and she was getting her life together. And he told her, look, I got you. While I was gone, you took care of our daughter. You know what I'm saying? You got caught up in the street life or whatever and ended up addicted to drugs. I'm going to make sure that our daughter is straight while you go to rehab and get yourself together. They're not together and they're not going to be together. But he saw enough in that situation to say, I'm here now. I'm going to take the lead and I'm going to help you the way you helped me by taking care of our daughter while I was gone. Now you go get yourself together and now I'm going to do it. And I thought that was the greatest thing, right? Because he wasn't mad at her or anything like that because he partly, was to blame for her situation. Because when he was out there before he went to the penitentiary, he was making sure that, that she was getting high with him and not going out on the street, so he would give her dope. But what that led to after he left was her continuing to try to find those drugs, and she ended up becoming addicted to, drugs and whatnot, and that hurt the family. He didn't see how that was going to hurt his daughter, because he couldn't relate to that. He was doing what he was doing. He felt like, okay, we're making sure that she's got food, know what I'm saying, clothes on her back and all these things, but he didn't understand how introducing these drugs into the household could affect her because they didn't fall, they didn't stumble. But then when he went to the penitentiary, the mother, she made sure that their daughter was taken care of until the addiction became too strong. And now here we go. So here's what happened to bro. Bro's sitting out one day and his phone rings. His phone rings. And it's his sister. And his sister calls and says, she's crying. She tells him, could you please come over here? My boyfriend just beat me up. So bro says, shoot, I'm on the way. I'm on the way. He said, where is he at? She tell him he's still out. He's still here. He's out. She done locked him out of the house and he's out there hooping and hollering, talking about he gonna hurt me. He gonna hurt me. So bro get in his car. He rolling over there, right? But keep in mind, you know what I'm saying? He's on parole. But it's in the same neighborhood, so he can go where he wants to go in this neighborhood, and it's during the day, right? So he's rolling. He get to the area. He pull up. He see dude out in the front yard. So he gets out to the car, and he's running to the door, right? Because he sees his sister. She's in the window of the house, you know what I'm saying, looking out. Because he's on the phone with her while he's on the way. He's letting her know I just pulled up. So she looks out the window. He sees her. She sees him. They see each other. So when he gets out of the car, he runs past dude, and dude tell him, what you over here for? What you gonna do? You ain't gonna do nothing. So bro, he's trying to ignore him because he understands how stuff is sometimes. It get heated, but he pissed off. But he need to go check on his sister before he does anything, if he does anything at all. So he goes up to the door. He tells her to open the door. And dude is standing there right behind him. Yeah, open his door. Open his door. And bro turn around and tell him, man, back up, man. Back up. Get away from this door, man. Get away from this door. Now, dude got a pistol. Bro ain't got no weapon, no nothing. Dude showing. He ain't got no weapon on nothing, but he's still holding firm. Bro ain't no sucker. You feel what I'm saying? But look here. You don't take no knife to no gunfight. Bro ain't got no weapon, no nothing. So he's balancing this situation the best he can. But he letting it be known, man, I'm not scared of you, homie. So his sister opens the door. And he gets in and he locks dude out. Dude banging on the door and all this and that. He said, open this door, I'm going to shoot through the door. So bro takes his sister further back into the house. And they go into the kitchen. And that's, out to the side of the door. So if dude does shoot through the door, it's unlikely that he would hit him. Bro thinking. You understand? He's thinking. He's got his mind moving, right? He's back into it now. He's got to figure out what to do to protect his sister. But when he sees his sister's face is beat up. I'm talking about she knotted up, busted her lip, all of this kind of stuff. Her tongue is cut because she bit down on the lip when he hit her. You know what I'm saying? All of this, right? She thinks her arm is broke because she can't move her hand. Everything is messed up, man. This dude beat her bad. Now, bruh is getting pissed. Bruh's getting pissed. And she said, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? She's terrified. She's leaning on her brother to help her, protect her. And he said, I got to get you to the hospital. She said, how are we going to get out? He's out there. So bruh's thinking, do I call the police? Or do I try to get her out here, out of this house? With him out there with a gun. He has a gun. And he's right out in the front yard. Now the neighbors, let me paint a picture for y'all now. Now the neighbors, they out there, people sitting on the porch, people riding by this and that. They act as if this is entertainment. Because this is not the first time that bruh, sister, and dude been in a fight. They do this. And y'all know it's a lot of people that you might know that do this. But it's dangerous. It can get scary and tricky real fast. So bruh, he decides, look here. You sneak out the back door. Go down the street. I'm going to go out the front door. And I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to come around and I'm going to pick you up and then we're going to go to the hospital. Listen to me now. Why is that important? Because he's still thinking, I don't want to call the police. I don't want to call the police. I don't want to get the police involved in this. See, that's that criminal mindset. Listen to me, y'all. It's that criminal mindset. He's still trying to be this street dude, but at the same time, he's putting his sister's life and his own in danger because this dude's got a gun. So he goes out the house. She goes out the back door. He goes out the front door. He trying to run to his car. And dude said, "Where's she at? Where's she at?" And he said, "Man, leave her alone, man. I'm gone. But he pissed. But he understands I got to get to my car. I got to go back, get to the back, pick up my sister before this dude figures this out. So dude looks in the house. He don't see no movement nowhere. And he gets to thinking. So he runs to the back of the house. Now, bruh sees this. He turns and he runs behind dude. But dude gets to the back of the house and he sees Gal. He sees bruh's sister. Dude run up on her, grab her, start pistol whipping her. I'm talking about hitting her. Start pistol whipping her, beating her. I'm talking about beating her. Beating her so bad that bruh loses it. He loses it. And he runs over there. And when he runs over, a dude hit him one time. Pow! Hit him right in his torso. Flipped it. Laid him down. Now he gets up and he trying to get to it. Think about this now. I ain't never been shot, but I got partners that been shot. They say, man, it hurts. Now this brother done got hit in his torso. In his torso, right there right where the hip is and all that. It's hard to walk. So he's still trying to get to dude. Now dude is focusing. He beating Gal. He beating her. So then dude, he gets to tripping. He shoots her. Hits her in the gut. She falls down. And then dude take his own life. Shoots himself. Now, bruh is laying there. Don't know what to do. And he's looking. And he thinks his sister is dead. He crawls over there. Now, all of these people that were out front, they've run to the back of the house where they hear all the shots. Now, they decide to call 911. Now, they decide to call for the police. Now, bro gets to his sister, and she's laying there. She's not dead. But she's out. He feels for a pulse. Now the neighbors, all these people that were out, now they want to come to his aid, and they get him. You know what I'm saying? They see dude dead. He's clearly dead. Now they get bro. They say, get him, we got to get him to the car. They're not waiting on the ambulance. They get him to the car. Then they get his sister. They get her to the car. You feel what I'm saying? And then they speeding off. And one of them, while they were speeding off, they call 911, say, we on our way to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? They describe the car and all this and that to the 911 people. And then the 911 person tell them that you got police en route. They come into the scene, and then they're going to have somebody that when they pass by, helping them get to the hospital, basically what I'm saying, right? Well, and then they also go into the scene. So, bro, you know what I'm saying? These neighbors, all these people, they get bro and his sister to the hospital. They get them up in the hospital, and the doctors do an amazing job, and they save their lives, right? They save their lives. Now, his sister, she going to have internal problems forever. They say that if the bullet would have been another inch or two to the left or the right, it would have paralyzed. She would never been walking. Wouldn't be able to walk no more. Bruh, he walked with a limp. Because it hit his torso, tore the bone apart. Shattered that bone. And like I said, dude is dead. So now, they're in the hospital, but they're in different rooms. Now, sis is way bad off. Way worse than bro. So, he said he went to her hospital room after a few days. And she's laying there in the bed. Both of them are out of intensive care at this time. She's laying there in the bed, and they start talking. And bro tells her he apologizes for not being there for her. He apologizes for that. And she didn't understand because he was taking it as, he was coming off as if he was to blame for it. You know what I mean? And when I talked to bro, I said, why did you tell her that you apologized for that? And he told me, he said, man, Joe T, he said, I should have called the police right then and there. As soon as I got over there, and when I got out of that car, he said, I should have called the police right then when I saw that gun. He said, but I was trying to keep it street. He said, I was trying to keep it street. I didn't want to call the police because I didn't want to see dude going to jail, because he said they fought all the time. He said this was a natural thing for them. He said, but I didn't want to see dude go to jail because I felt like she was going to take him back anyway. So I was just trying to find a way to get her to the hospital, separate them for a while, and then hopefully she would leave. And they could figure it out from there on their own. He said, I was trying to keep it street. And in the process of keeping it street, he said, I almost lost my sister. He didn't care about him not being able to walk like he used to walk and do all the things he used to do. He didn't care nothing about that. He cared more about his sister's life. And he was saying to himself, well, he wasn't saying to himself, he was saying to me that he understood now. Because, see, he was one of those individuals that years ago I asked that question of when he was in here. I said, what would you do? And he was one of those individuals that didn't want to call the police. He didn't want to get the police involved. Now, look here, y'all. I get the history of the police and how it's been in our community. I get it. I'm telling you, I get it. But what is it that we're supposed to do? If we're not going to hold each other accountable, right? And when I say each other, what I mean is this. Those neighbors that were standing out there, he-hen and ha-han and kiki-hen and ka-kan, they come out on their porches and be riding up and down the street whenever these fights are going on, because these things happen in a lot of people's neighborhoods, a lot of people's homes. And nobody gets involved because don't nobody want to get involved, don't nobody want to be in somebody else's business. But what if it was your sister? What if it was your sister? You would want somebody to get in there. You would want somebody to get in there until you got there. Because we're losing too many people like this. We're losing too many people because we don't want to get involved. We don't want to hold the man accountable. In some situations, it happens with the women too. We got some women out there that ain't playing. But we don't want to, excuse me, we don't want to hold nobody accountable for what they're doing. And then we don't want to get the police involved to stop it. So what do? And in this situation, it almost cost this brother his sister's life. His sister almost died. She almost got paralyzed. And to this day, she's not straight. To this day, she's not straight. She can't be in no relationship. Her mind won't go there. Her mind won't even allow her to love anymore. Up to this point anyway, she hasn't met anybody that she's comfortable with. She's traumatized. When she gets close to somebody, she breaks it off because she thinks that, what if? It's always a what if. Yeah, she's doing the therapy thing and all this and that, right? But I wanted to tell you this story because I want you to understand how that mindset that we get caught up in prevents us from doing something and holding each other accountable. Yeah, okay, say you don't want to call the police. But if you got a partner that's beating on their partner, you understand, the person that they say they love, say something. Say something. Or do something. Because if you don't do it, then who's going to do it? I'm going to leave you with that. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all. I've been trying to breathe underwater.